Hi guys, welcome back to the Rake. We have a very fun guest today. She's an ACR stormer, streamer, relatively new to poker, but taking the poker world by storm. Welcome, Melissa Poo Dawg Melissa. We're glad to have you.
That is my full name. Thank you for using it. Hi, thank you guys for inviting me on. It's like so unexpected, but it's so exciting. You guys are popping my cherry for my podcast virginity.
That's awesome. You've already probably gotten 20 new thirsty fans with that, so that's good.
Come on in.
Yeah.
I just post memes.
Great. So for people who don't know about you, and because you're relatively new to the scene, if you want to just give like your whole poker origin story, how you got into it, why it appeals to you, how's it going?
Well, I really have only been playing seriously for like a little over a year. Before that, I was like, I loved poker, and I played like sometimes, like when I would go to the casino with my friends, I would like disappear into the poker room for like 5 hours and then meet up with them at the end of the night. But like, I don't know how I actually was like leaving with money sometimes, because there's no reason why I should have been. It was just I must have ran really good, because like I actually was like a stone like fish, like actually like limping like every hand. Like I don't know what a range is, like me last June. Like I don't know what the fuck is like Pio. I'm sorry. Like I don't know any of that stuff. I know like one time I looked up a hand rankings list and I memorized it, and I think I'm good at poker now. So like, you know, for people that think the game's still dead or the game's dying, it's still alive, because that was me like a year ago and I was willfully donating. So I just decided to actually like look into playing online, because I lived in New York City and there was no, obviously like casinos are like 2 hours away, Foxwoods or Atlantic City. So I didn't really know anything about like online poker or Twitch poker or anything. I remember watching like some clip on YouTube and they talked about Twitch poker, and like I knew about Twitch with gaming, but I didn't know people played poker on there. So I started looking on there, and then I was like, oh, okay, online poker is a thing. So like for you guys who have been in poker forever, like, yeah, this is how people like actually are thinking, who like poker, but like, yes, this exists. Like this was me like less than 2 years ago. So like, I started looking into that. I started playing on like Ignition and like ACR and stuff, like just playing like $1 tournaments, whatever. And then I was like, well, I have like a Twitch that I had made for gaming, and I was like, I'll just try this. And then I got rated. My first like poker stream ever was like, I got like a 20-person raid, and I was very overwhelmed. And then I was like, wow, like I'm a streamer now. And then after that, I got like one viewer like every stream for like months.
And then it's devastating when you find out it's like your mom. You're like, oh shit.
No, it was like the Twitch bots, like command.
Oh no.
And, like,
it's like the drink.
I was like,
remember
this guy
to drink
really
water,
likes
bot.
this Commander Root guy, like loves me. No, that's like a Twitch bot. So but anyway, like I don't know. I just kind of stuck with it. I mean, I just liked poker a lot, and even though I was like losing, like I just kind of was nut peddling and happy to do it. I don't really remember like how the streaming thing like really. I guess I got rated by Pav one time, and then or a couple times, and then like I don't know. I guess it kind of took off a little bit from there, and I was on the Stormers, and I was making a little bit a month from that, and then I just started actually learning about like poker, not like just for fun. And I'm kind of like a very obsessive, addictive personality. So like if something bites me, like I'm gonna just disappear into it so until I just like learn as much as I want. But the thing with like poker that I realized is like it fills that box for me that's like you can just learn and learn and learn, and you're like, it's just always like I am like a psycho border collie brain. Like my brain needs like to be thinking a lot about stuff that isn't itself. So like I need to be like absorbed in something mentally stimulating, or I'm gonna just like destroy the world around me. So it really filled that box for me, and I kind of just like got more and more into it, and started seeing like some improvements, but I was just like painfully break even for like a really, really long time. Way too tight, just way too tight. Like I just did, if I wasn't sure, then I didn't do it. And I often wasn't sure because I was just doubting myself like every step of the way. I was kind of like, instead of going the route of like, I know everything, I went the route of like, I actually don't know anything. Everything I'm doing is wrong. Like I'm super self-critical, and like it's a blessing and a curse because it motivates me, but it also, you know, holds me back sometimes. And like, I kind of, you know, like I was dating Rob and poker guru and I have nothing but nice things to say about him. He really, like, honestly, he's a very good coach. He works really, really, really hard on his game. And I saw that firsthand, like every single day. So he actually helped me like break out of this nitty scared way of playing and kind of just be like, fuck it. Like, this is the correct decision. So we're just doing this. Like, it doesn't matter like what you're scared of, because you're just, you know, this spot and you do this spot and that's it. So it just taught me to be more professional in my thinking, like being around someone who has been around for a long time. And so like for that, I'm very grateful. And, you know.
So you're in Vegas now. You just moved here kind of recently.
Yeah.
Were you out here, or what made you finally make the jump from New York to Vegas?
Well, my brother and I came here the summer before I moved here. I moved here like January of this year, and we came here, we visited in that July to celebrate his divorce. And and we loved it. He's are you
No. No. I'm just saying, I'm wondering like
okay, well, for any ladies who might be, I'm gonna plug my brother if you guys don't mind. He is 30. He's a bachelor. He's a Cancer. He has 2 dogs. He's not super tall, but he's good, handsome man. And so if you guys want a nice boy to take you out that looks a little bit like me but a boy, just DM me.
This is awesome. Set you up. This is the first real like classified ad like
I'm trying to be a good wing woman.
Wondering what your like sibling dynamic is like, and if he plays poker, if when you go to Vegas you go out like partying together. But I feel like I already got a pretty good picture of like.
Well, it's funny because we were both really, really crazy like in high school. Not together, like we were 7 years apart. So we just both kind of, we were really wild, and now we just like to stay home with our dogs. So like now, like if we go out, like when we came to visit, we were just kind of like, I would go play poker and he was playing Let It Ride for like 14 hours a day because he's just weird. And then yeah, but it's like, why let it ride? I don't but that's his game. So we have, I don't know, we have fun, we just chill, we're very close, like yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your kind of upbringing story? Because I think you like raised yourself a little bit, and you and your brother kind of grew up really fast and like crazy.
Yeah, I think that's definitely like brought me to here, like in terms of just like making the leaps I have that are kind of like, you know, like just driving across the country. Like I bought a car that day and just drove across the country and moved here, like stuff like that, where it's just like we grew up, like we were really fortunate in a lot of ways. Like we were fortunate financially, which I'm very like grateful for, because I don't know like if we would be here today without that. But we had a lot of other like challenges growing up where we didn't really have like parents. Like my dad passed when we were young. I was 9, and our mom had like mental health issues and alcoholism, and just she was very sick, and like she couldn't really take care of us how I'm sure she wanted to. So we had to grow up very fast, and he moved out when I was like 10. So I basically was like on my own for a while. And I think that part of what I still have now, even like with poker too, is just like I kind of go in my own world. Like I kind of like being in my own mind and just figuring things out. Like I love that state of just like you get into just this obsessive, like you're just attacking a problem in your head. And that's kind of what I was doing my whole childhood, but towards things that I couldn't fix. So now it's like I have this obsessive need to solve issues, but like, or make decisions or collect information, like always collecting info from my environment to make sure everything's safe, my mom's safe, like, dogs are good, everything's good, like, always checking, always making sure. So I have a little bit of this, thing that I'm kind of finding is turning into a strength now that I'm an adult, which is like ideal. But
poker too.
Yeah, and in poker,
the way you're describing it, it's like poker is like cathartic for you. You're solving puzzles. It's making you feel like you have control over something. Is that how does it feel?
Not so much like I have control over it, but it's more just like I think that my brain got so used to collecting like information and trying to figure out and see through deceptions and like try and assess the situation, like how it actually is, always checking, like double checking information, like these types of things that have made me very like I just am very like I pull myself to a really high standard in the way I think about things and the way I do things, because like when I was growing up, the stakes were higher. Like it was like, I fuck this up, like I might, like be in danger or something, my mom might be in danger or something bad might happen. So this like doing it right, or like just like making sure I am able to do it right and making sure I'm like prepared and ready, like in my brain, it's kind of, I feel like it's just left over, and that's helped me in poker a lot. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I haven't really thought about it that much, but like, yeah, looking back, it definitely, there's a lot of like overlap.
Mm-hmm. The first thing I said when we like kind of met, I mean, we kind of knew each other, but was that you seem so, and you're like only 25, which is, pretty young. Me at 25, I was like, I'm still like, so
I feel like I'm like 16 still kind of, but
you're so like, you seem so together. You're so like calming.
Thank you.
Yeah. And like, I don't know if it's because you have so much life experience. We love hallucinogenics on this pod.
Yeah.
We've had a decent amount of hallucinogenic experience. And I think
yeah.
that's too.
Yeah.
A bit, but you've got this very calming presence.
Well, it's given me, I mean, I tell everyone that, like I don't do drugs anymore, but like, I'm not against them. It's just that I don't trust myself with them. But like, I'm so glad that I did that, because, even though I was super young, and I just kind of think it all happens when it's supposed to and whatever, like I wouldn't go back and change anything, because it opened my mind in like a way that it's just like, you get it. I mean, only people that like experience it know it, because it's just something that's so outside of normal human perception. But like, that's stuff that sticks with you. It's like the paradigm shifting stuff, like that just sticks. It just changes the way you see things, like probably forever. So I'm really glad I did that. I think it's given me just it was what it did was it let me see the world without all this toxic, like stressful shit that was just like all over my life lens. Like it was just like all this shit that had accumulated from generations and generations of like alcoholism and like domestic violence and all this stuff. And like, you know, that's just generational. It gets passed down your family. And like, that was all over my lens from just growing up the way that I did. So like, just, I think, well, I mean, it basically turns your brain into like a newborn baby's brain. Like they've done like scans, I think, and it shows that like your brain on LSD is like lights up in a very similar way to a newborn baby's brain. So you're kind of just like seeing the world like a baby again, and you see like you just like see it for what it is, and like it's a lot of the world is really beautiful, and there's like a lot of really like positive stuff everywhere, you know, like we just have to like see it. I mean, we can only see what we see, you know, like we can't see everything. So it showed me that there's just other ways of seeing always. Like there's always a million different ways to see. Mm-hmm. So I think that helped me a lot, and it still does. But I mean, also like meditation, like prayer, like just general like spirituality stuff, I think has helped me be sane.
Yeah, I think something that this isn't like, I'm not doing the like everyone should do drugs, but I think one thing, like being in an altered state sometimes, you feel like, okay, I think I can get here without drugs. Like I think that's kind of a good part of it, and just being like, there are other things that make me feel close to this, like running long distance. So you start feeling like really like positive, and you like, I feel like after working out, you're like, I'll have a conversation, I'm expecting the person, like good things out of the person, instead of like, oh, what bullshit am I going to run into now? I think that's like one of the positives of experimenting with certain things, is like you try to look for it and get that feeling from like natural, healthy things in your life. I wanted to ask you about one tweet, if you want to talk about it. You said, biggest flex is not drinking this year despite temptation. 3+ years the drink is still going strong. That's really interesting, because I think this year probably broke a lot of people from just having to sit at home, being lonely. Like all the triggers are there, all the like opportunity to drink and relapse, whatever, is there every day. How did you get through it? And do you have advice for anybody who's struggling right now?
You know, it was hard because, well, there's a lot of different ways to, you know, like not drink and to like be sober. The way I had been doing it and the way I got sober was through like the 12 steps, and like with COVID meetings for that stuff, they're online. But the problem is that like new people and people that are looking to get sober, like don't really know that. Like they don't really know, like you can't just like walk in anymore or like find a newsletter. And I don't really like, so what I would say is, if you want to, actually, it's like a really good time to, if you're thinking about, you know, stopping doing something like that, it's actually a really good time to try it, because it's so low pressure. You can just hop in a Zoom meeting, check it out. You don't even have to say anything. You don't even have to show yourself. Sit there, listen. If you don't like it, leave. I mean, it's, and maybe you'll come back and maybe you won't. Like, you know, it's just, see if you hear something. Like if you're thinking about it, it's so worth it to just sit in one of those meetings. It's so low pressure. See if you hear something that clicks, and like you might. I mean, if you're drawn to it, you should go for it. So like that's what I would have to say. I mean, it's tough. Everyone needs to just, I think, be kind to themselves, because it's like a hard time for everyone. I think it's brought out a lot of stuff for a lot of people, which isn't always a bad thing. Like sometimes we're living in a way for so long, we get stuck doing the same thing over and over, and then it takes something to shake your life up and show you all the things that are not working anymore, and then, you know, change it. So yeah, that's like, I guess what I would have to say. I've gotten a couple people reached out to me after that, and I have a list of numbers, especially guys in the Vegas area. I have a list of sober guys in Vegas. If you guys want to DM me, my DMs are open. Don't send dick pics. I don't get those. So because I think people know that I would roast them. So I actually have never gotten one because I think people know I would make fun of them. So I'm not the type that would, you know, respond well to that. So whatever, I'm not worried about that really. You know, if you want to get sober, you can DM me. That's fine. But I personally am not going to be helping any dudes who want to get sober. If you are reaching out to me looking to get sober, I will direct you to a man. So if you're looking to use that for something else, don't. Yeah, I have a list of men that I sent out to a couple people already. So, you know, it's easy. Just forward it. Pretty much it.
And I feel like you touched on it before, but like this meditation is like a big part of your life, and how important is that to your sobriety? And also, I was telling you because I did this little like meditation workshop with some friends early in the quarantine. It's like a 30-day thing, and it was okay. Like I definitely made progress, but I still just have this really I just can't get there. And I was telling you, like, well, for me, like driving is kind of meditative. And you were like, oh yeah, you're meditating.
It's a form of it for sure. I mean, like anytime you're attending to the present, like intentionally, then you're like kind of meditating. I mean, you're being mindful, and that's like a form of meditation. I think that anything you do, you can make, like, if you want to like incorporate like a meditative type of thing, it doesn't have to be like so all or nothing. Like I think I get that way with myself, where I'm like, I have to meditate for 4 hours at night and like astral project into like a different dimension, or I'm not doing it. And it's like, no, like that's not like, you can literally just like wash your hands and think about the water and how it feels on your hands, and like just like settle into the moment like throughout the day. And guess what, if you do that like 15 times a day, like you're pretty zen. Like you're pretty zen throughout the day if you're remembering to do that, like actually zero into the moment and like feel a sensation on your skin, like you're doing pretty good. But yeah,
you are so cool. I'm like so happy we're doing this pod. You're just so chill. Like, yeah, it's, I don't know, it's just nice to have like a new woman in poker, and you're just like calm and not saying, yeah, nothing bad against any new women in poker. I'm just like really surprised that someone so young in like a crazy environment, like our community is crazy. You just have like a really cool perspective on things. And
thank you.
I was wondering, have you tried like float tanks or anything like that? Because that like blew my mind.
You did it? What was it like?
I've gone twice with completely different experiences each time. Like the first time it took me it was an hour, and it took me like a while. You don't know how much time's gone by because it's dark and you're just literally floating, and it's like body temperature. You don't feel your like extremities. It's really weird. But it took me a really long time to like quiet my mind. And then the second half or so, I was like, this is crazy. Like I wasn't thinking about anything, and it was just like awesome. And then the second time I had a borderline panic attack. Like I like was half asleep and just like floating, and like my arm touched the side, and I couldn't tell what part of my body touched the side of the tank, but I was like, what the fuck? Like it like woke me up out of whatever I was in, and I just was like, I'm done. I like got out early. But to have those experiences for like $30 or something, it's like it felt similar to like being high on something.
Yeah,
it's just
that
super
sounds
weird.
Right up my alley. I definitely have been interested in trying that for a while. I know they have them around here. I don't know if they're like doing what the COVID.
Some of them closed during COVID. I think the one, it was called like Go Float Yourself or something like that. Like that one, I don't think that exists now, but yeah, I'm sure you could find one pretty easily.
I did.
We'll just go visit Rogan in Texas.
Yeah. What'd you say, Marley? I think your mic like cuts out a little when you're.
I did one time by myself. Oh no, sorry, I was with a friend, different rooms. But I didn't really like it. I don't know. I really I struggle to quiet the mind. but like you guys, like I have had a decent amount of like hallucinogenic and drug experiences. And to me, it's like, I really think I can get there sober. And mimic it or the mindful, or I mean, I guess I get there when I'm not trying to more than anything. When I want to, I'm like, I'm gonna meditate now.
It's the expectation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I just like, or even like at a poker game, sometimes you just get so into it. I get like that too.
Yeah. Like, I think, well, it's because my brain is actually really not calm, so that's why I have to do this stuff, because like I'm just, it's like if you were like listening to a radio and it's broken and there's just like 15 stations playing at once, like that's my brain, like just blank. So like the meditation, like what I have to do, especially getting back into it, because I actually took like a couple years off doing it, and I actually just started doing it again, like getting back into daily, like in maybe like October. So I'm not that far into it this time around, but getting back into it, I definitely had to just like find something that works where you're just connecting to your body, whether it's like an anchor sort of. So you're just like, if you notice you're kind of going off, instead of being like, I'm supposed to be quiet, like I'm supposed to be fucking sorry, am I not supposed to curse?
No,
Okay. Like I'm supposed to be like quiet right now, I'm not supposed to be thinking right now, instead of just being like, start counting your breaths, like 1, 2, 3, and then like just focus, like just redirect, because your brain's like a little, like your brain is like actually just like a toddler or like a little like dog, like it's like it's kind of just not sure, so we have to just like gently, okay,
yeah,
all right,
that's why I think I get there more with like, I used to do a lot of like long distance running. I ran a bunch of marathons and stuff like that, and that was like, you are meditating, your body's so tired, you can't really like feel like anxiety or anything, you're just exhausted, and you just start like thinking about things that are like, I get perspective on stuff, you think of what's important, what you want to care about going forward. It used to be really good for me, but I'm like, man, running's really hard, I don't want to do that every day. Like, I would rather just try to float in a tank or meditate or something else. But yeah, it's like interesting how many different ways you can get there and how much we need it in poker. Like,
oh my gosh, well, it's in poker, I mean, I don't understand what I was doing playing without meditating before, because I knew meditation was something that worked for me already, but I just wasn't doing it, making my life harder for myself, like unnecessarily. So doing it again, I'm just like, okay, this is different. Like it changed things a lot, because in poker, your whole tool is your mind. I mean, it's your decision making. And if you can create like a little pause in between your decisions where you're just naturally breathing and thinking a little bit more deliberately and slowly, like you're going to have an edge over everyone who's not doing that. So don't meditate, guys.
You figured that out like so soon. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I had to do it to, like be a sane person in life and not a wreck to be around.
But how does streaming fit into that? Because I briefly streamed. I was sponsored by Party New Jersey when they first opened. I was like helping them launch their site, and that was like a huge component of my deal. They were like, we want you to stream these big events, like whenever there's a big series every day. And if it was like Sundays and there's something big streamed, I was like, okay, I'm not that extroverted, but I was like, I can do this. Like I was really happy to have the sponsorship picture. It was in my head all the time. Like there's going to be people trolling. There's always like, I think this move's going to work, I'm going to do this. And then I'm like, oh, they're going to make fun of me. Like it's so out of their box.
Or like they're not going to get it and they're going to think I'm dumb.
I can't defend it and I don't feel like defending it. Let's just play ABC when I'm streaming. And that was like a big hindrance to like becoming a better poker player for me that year. Sure. And does that get to you, or do you think the
I mean, I don't stream anymore at all because of that. Like it got to the point where it was like I was so into poker, and I knew, and I still know, I'm not going to stop. Basically, like I'm not like thinking of it in terms of I want to be the best XYZ. I want to win this at this time by this date. It's not like that. It's just like I just kind of know that I have so many times been like, I fucking hate poker. Fuck this game. And then I play the next day. I'm going to keep playing. Okay. So like basically it got to the point where I was like, if I'm going to keep playing, like it's not fun to lose. It's just not. I want to win. It's fun to win. And it's also makes the game more fun because you can think about it in more ways and you can do more. Like it's like you kind of get an expansion pack every time you like learn, a new spot. So like, it's like, that's like the way that I'm thinking about it. I kind of forget where I was going, but basically like,
Streaming.
Oh yeah, streaming. That's right. So basically I realized that like I know myself to a degree where I know I'm just going to keep going and it's going to get to a point where I'm going to be making like more from poker than I can from streaming because there's only a certain cap that you can get from streaming, and I recognized and like I knew that streaming was like very minus EV. It just is. I mean, there's like no right way around it. You're showing your spots, you're showing your hands, you're distracted, you're potentially getting tilted, especially if you're like a woman, you're getting creeped on and
and it messes with your flow. It definitely messes with game flow and like paying attention because you want to be an entertainer too.
In the flow. Like that's the sweet spot. Like that's what we do it for is the flow. Like that flow state is like heaven. So I don't want to let anyone into that anymore. That's my time. I love my flow state. I love my sacred time to sit in front of my computer in my sweatpants or my underwear or whatever the fuck I want. And I don't have to be on camera and I just get to be in my zone. And like, that's it for me. Like, that's what I like. So streaming, I would stream like, but just not poker because that's just my time.
We interrupt this podcast with an important message from our sponsors at Run It Once. Right now on Run It Once Poker, there are still a few days left in our festive 12 Days of Christmas program, where each day offers its own unique rakeback or cash prize promo. Plus, on December 26th, we'll be holding a holiday raffle to give away over €5,000 in prizes to 100 lucky winners. To see the full schedule and details for each promotion, including the raffle, head to once.run/12days. And if you're looking to improve your game, head on over to Run It Once Training, where you'll find the largest library of high-quality poker training content on the web, with 2 new videos posted daily from an incredible stable of some of the greatest minds in the game, including Run It Once founder Phil Galfond. Sign up today at once.run/learn and you'll get free access to 3 of our elite level videos. And now, back to the pod.
There was a time I was at a final table of a Sunday major when I was sponsored by the site. And I'm like, okay, I really want there to be a tech problem. Like, that's where I was at. I just was like, I want to focus on trying to win like 15K or 10K or whatever it was up on top. And I just was like, I don't want to have other voices in my head and whatever.
Exactly.
And like, that was a big realization for me. Cause I'm like, oh, trying to be like a popular streamer seems cool. It's really good for women in poker if you're like a good role model and like, you're interesting and you're really trying to get good at poker. That was always in my head. I'm like, I want to be that person. But then also I'm like, at that point especially, I just loved playing poker. And like, I would put in more volume the days I didn't have to stream because I want to be in the PJs and I want to like lay around and just like click buttons and think.
Exactly. Yeah. I the days that I played without streaming, I was like, wow, this is like so nice. I love this. And I was doing better. I was playing better. Mm-hmm. So it was just kind of an easy decision for me.
Yeah. What's that for you, Marley? Is it like getting easier to stream or you're kind of over it too?
Well, I was telling Melissa this too. Well, I don't mind streaming and I think I will definitely pick it up again. But for me, because I'm a cash game player and I was playing online tournaments and I really am so new. It's like I wasn't playing I can't learn to play online tournaments well and be entertaining people. I need to focus on one and then tackle that. And then I can worry about entertaining people. And I just needed to get better at being able to play. And I think that, you know, once I get that, I feel like I did make a lot of ground with that, just improving and studying and focusing in. But yeah, that was what it was for me more than anything. I think that because I'm just not an online player, I'm not used to multi-tabling. I'm not used to all the different things that go on. So I had to get that under control. It's just so hard, man. And also, I'm kind of like this. I'm more of an introvert. I like doing YouTube because I can be on in short bursts, but then I need to like be done.
Yeah, like when you feel like it, not like my streaming schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Sunday, and I have to be an extrovert those days. It's like, that's not how our brains work. You can't do that.
Well, I told you, like, Spraggy, even when he's finished streaming, he'll stream for 10 hours. And then even if he wants to play a game with friends or whatever, he'll stream that after he's been streaming poker for, like, he just wants.
That's nuts.
Yeah, he's like an extrovert, right? Like he just like, that energizes him. To me, that's a lot. Like, I need to sleep after that.
If I'm playing like chess with my friends after a long day of poker, I don't want the chat. The last thing I want is the chat there. And he's like, yeah, guys, like, let's just continue. Let's just play some games now and unwind. He loves it. You know what I mean? And so I think you have to be like that.
Yeah, there's just different. It's just different. I'm definitely an introvert, but when I'm like, I like people and I like socializing and I like going out, but I get my energy from like my time, like my bubble. Put me in a pod for like a week and I'm like, come out like like I'm blossomed.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm like in between where there are certain people who like add energy to me. Like the people you're so comfortable with that you are just yourself. I'm like, that's better for me than even being alone. But then almost everyone else, like if I go play a poker tournament, I'm like, that's enough. I'm like, I saw 100 people like today.
It's definitely with certain people. Like if it's like you're just trying to, like with streaming, I think why it was so draining is because it's just a lot of people that like there's no face to it. There's like an expectation of you where you have to kind of like attend to them, and you're like, it's like you're doing it for your audience, whereas like it's kind of weird because there's this weird like juxtaposition where you're streaming for an audience, but then you're like playing poker for you. So then you have to like balance like what's the
Getting
sweet
your
spot,
attention.
you know? And like I'm like, to me there is no.
Because you want to be 100%.
Yeah.
Can you explain your name? I'm a huge dog fan, so no matter what the reason is, Poo Dawg Melissa, I need to know.
I need to come up with something that is like more interesting. But basically it was just my PlayStation name because my friend and I like we were making my PlayStation name. We were on the phone and he was like, just make it like, just pick something. So I was like, well, I want it to be like something funny. So if we're like playing Call of Duty or something, people have to say like diarrhea, you know, like that's funny to me because I'm 12. So like, I mean, I wasn't 12, I was like 22, but like, you know, so yeah, I settled on Poo Dawg Melissa because they're really strict about names. I couldn't use like I couldn't even use like poop. Like I had to use poo. So, so whatever, that was my name. And then I was going to stream, I made my Twitch so I could stream video games. But, yeah, like it's really hard to stream video games and like get people to watch you. I think I never got a viewer probably. And also I'm really bad. So like no one wants to watch that. So I just kept it because I was like, well, this is just whatever. Like no one's going to see this. Like I was like, no, this isn't going to like, it's just for fun. I'm just like streaming $1 tournament. Who cares? Yeah. So now it's, you know,
well, that
forever
happens
burned
to a lot of people in poker. Like, do you remember the guy Monster Dong? Like you're like new in poker, but like he got sponsored. And so he was like a sponsored pro and it's like Monster Dong takes down the Sunday 500. And I was like, this is hilarious.
I love that.
And this dude's typing it in. He's like, what should my name be? I don't know. Maybe a literary character or
Monster
like maybe a tribute
Dong.
to my old pet, Monster Dong. And then it's just everywhere forever.
Like, that's amazing. I think that's just kind of encompasses like it just that's a good illustration of just like the poker world. It's like you're winning like heaps of money, but your name is Monster Dom.
Yeah.
Who is it? Somebody Suck Me is Brian Piccoli on GG, and he went deep in the main this year, and it was like I loved that they kept tweeting, "Somebody suck me as tip leader."
Oh my god.
So good.
I know. I kind of wish that I made my name like, well, I have my WSOP name. I like that one, but I kind of wish I made my like ACR name something funnier.
My WSOP name is Dan Bilzerian, and I thought it was a great name because chat used to exist, so I would get to chat as Dan Bilzerian.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like whatever. And so I would just tell
sounds
people.
So fun.
It was really fun, but now they took fucking chat away, so now it's just like ... And then people are like, "Why is your name Dan Bilzerian?" Like at people outside of chat, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I used to talk as a dad. Cool. Like I would pretend I was like an actual old guy, and I would. Like this is why I would play on WSOP, like because I just loved doing that, and like it was just I would be like, hey, like stop that, that's my son, and then I would like assign one guy as like my son, and I was like protecting him from everyone else at the table. Awesome. I don't think anyone was ever like really paying attention, but to me it was just making my night. So
for your own entertainment. Oh, I want to ask you, because we're focusing on so many other things, but your big score, like talk about that. Was that like was that out of nowhere? Were you already like doing well? Tell me
that week was great. No, I that came after. So that week I got my biggest score before that week was like 2,500. And then I got like, I don't know, something in one of the WSOP bracelet events for like 5K. So I was like sick, like new high score, whatever. I didn't get further, but I'll take my new high score. Then I got, or no, it was like 4 something. And then I got like deep in another one that week for like 5K-ish or like a little over 5K. So I was like, oh, sick, like new biggest score. And then that the Sunday after was like that player appreciation thing. I was like, oh, I'm going to get like new biggest score in the bracelet event. Busted that. I think it was like, I don't know. And then I had just had that up on the side, and I had like no chips around the bubble, and I was like, well, I'll just try to slide in, and then like I just kept laddering, and then I like doubled up, and then I was like, oh shit, there's like 18 left, and I have like pretty good stack. It's the player appreciation, but the thing with that tournament is like you have to be lucky to win that. This gets so shallow. It's like it's a bit of a crapshoot.
You have to be lucky to win every tournament, but it's like that is it was like 30K or something. That's amazing.
It was really nice because it gave me an opportunity to really like use some of the stuff that I had learned, because a lot of the stuff that I have been learning was, final 2 table stuff, which is like I know like the money's at the top. So like studying those final 2 tables, final 3 table dynamics is like so important, like the ICM stuff, and like just making people freak out from applying too much pressure.
Dude, and in that tournament especially, it's $100 buy-in. So everyone, like I would say whatever, 3/4 of the tournament is going to be like recreational or close to recreational. So when it gets to the end, like you are going to have people who are going to pass up a bunch of spots because they're like, oh, I want to make 3,000 instead of 2,000 if I just wait. And like that's an amazing spot to be in if you've been studying.
For sure. And psychologically it just like wears on you. Like when there's someone with a chip lead, like big chip lead at the table, and they're just shoving every hand, you're like, oh, like this is so annoying. I just have to pick a spot, I guess. And then like it's funny because I got to see like why this works, is like I was in the big blind, and I had like, there was a lot of ICM. I think the next pay jump was maybe 5K. And he just shoves, he has like equal stack for, I think we were 3-handed or maybe 4-handed. And there was a lot of ICM, and he shoves 3-2 suited into me from the small blind as the big blind. And then like, I mean, I called with, I don't know, a king or ace or something, but it was just like, you could see like stuff like that or it might've been even offsuit. Actually, it was something ridiculous where it was just like, you see how that pressure, people just eventually are like this sucks, like fuck this, and then they will just shove because they're like, I have to pick a spot, and they might shove in a spot where they wouldn't otherwise, or they might, miss a spot. It creates a lot of pressure. It creates a high pressure situation, and I like being the chip lead. I like being the chip lead in that situation. That was fun. I love that.
Yeah.
If I could do that if I could get in that spot every time, I love that. But not always like that. So I keep that as a fond memory of the time I was able to be the poker dad that just shoved it in everyone's face.
Well, I wanted to ask you briefly before we go. So you do, we all sell action sometimes. We all have gotten staked. If not just for a summer or whatever, here and there. And we've talked a lot about this. I think it's interesting, the relationship between the horse and the backer.
Yeah.
Women make the best horses because I was always this way too. Like, we're so transparent and communicative with our backer. I would always text and be like, oh, I just punted. I'm sorry. Like, this is the hand. I just had a brain fart. And they appreciate that stuff. They appreciate and I feel like you were telling me you're the same way.
Well, I don't know so I just started being backed, and I'm very new to this stuff. So I don't really know how it usually is or how people usually communicate with their backers. I just know if I have a brick day, I'll send a picture of a stock photo of a woman holding a brick. I do think, I have a spreadsheet and I update it very meticulously, and I'm really transparent about that stuff. If he wanted to, he could see every buy-in that I enter, because it's I do it one by one. So I don't know, I guess I don't know how people usually do it. I was just kind of like how it came to me is how of how you should approach that is just be pretty, just be honest. They get it. They're poker players too. So
no, obviously
that's tough. Oh, go ahead, Marley.
Stuff. What's your experience with this kind of stuff?
I have a Excel spreadsheet of every move I make, every step I take.
Yeah.
I'll be watching you.
Wait, do you have of every play you make?
No. The multi-tabling too much. But no, we do a lot of hand
that's next level.
So I play cash for myself, which is usually cool because it's a way to step out if you just feel MTTs aren't going well. But man, COVID has really sucked for that. So I've just been writing MTTs. But yeah, I record every single tournament buy-in. Once in a while, notes if I feel there were some hands that I want to look back on, or if I'm just I was a psychopath today. I took 12 terrible squeeze spots. They all went horribly. This is why I'm down 5K on a Sunday. That kind of thing. And I feel it's better to be that way. And then you build up goodwill by just being really honest with people.
Yeah.
And they know you're trying hard, or they know when you're not trying hard and need to take a break for a month. I don't know. That's just the best policy. And then look, I've really only been, it was backed by a big stable back in the day when I was a lot better at MTTs. And then now it's just with a friend, a staking group that my friend runs. And I want him to know everything, because if there's a point where I'm my head's not in it, my heart's not in it, I'm a losing player at stakes I'm playing, I want him to be able to cut me, that kind of thing. Just have the trust thing. I do kind of agree. I hate being women do this, men do this, but I do agree, of people I've bought pieces of in the past, women have been better at being here's the money instantly. They'll cash something and be I owe you $822. Here's the breakdown. Here's the money. And I'm wow. But I don't know. It might just also be the selection bias of the people I interact with.
I guess, I guess this stuff doesn't seem like a big deal, and it shouldn't be, but I think my first experience, he staked a lot of people, one of which was my ex-boyfriend. And I've just seen kind of over the years how most people interact with people in business interactions. And most poker players will never, when they bust, they never say it's a punt. They'll never admit that they fucked up. They made a mistake. Like, oh, it's always the sickest cooler. It's always
lost a flip. Was it?
So bad. I just can't win. I run so bad. It's never yo.
You were behind.
Yeah, and I just kind of feel like, and that's something when he told me when we ended that relationship years ago, was like, he told me when we ended the staking deal, like, you were the only horse I ever had that like really was just so honest with me. And so now, I don't know, I just think that that's like something people don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there isn't really like an etiquette book, I guess, for the weird phenomenon of like this transference of large amounts of money back and forth with no legal contract and no prior knowledge of what the hell's going on, and you just are like, okay, here's 5K. It's like it's a weird thing, and there's no rule book or etiquette or it's all word of mouth kind of like,
dude, I used to be a lawyer,
stuff.
so this drives me crazy. Like with a legal background, I'm like, I watch people make like
it's so
six-figure deals with each other, and they just like high five as they're like transferring the money. I'm like, what is happening? And the first time I ever got backed for anything, it was on 2+2. I just sold on Marketplace. It was probably 10 years ago, and I was like, I'm going out to the WSOP. Here's my graph on Shark Scope. I'm going to be playing this if anyone wants a piece. And this one guy goes, reserve all. And I show up to get the money, and he's playing in like, they used to call it the snake pit or whatever, the cash area of the Rio that they set up in the middle, whatever. And he just like hands me 2 5K chips. And I was like, oh, it's only like 7K. And he's like, just give me the rest when we're done. And I was like, what is
I know.
this? Like, it was the weirdest thing. So I'm like, I don't think I've ever had like transactions more than like a few $100s with friends before that, where they're like, oh, can you spot me real quick?
Yeah.
And I'm like, this dude who doesn't know me at all, we don't have one single friend in common. He just has my like 2+2 name.
Right.
So I was like, this world is crazy. I should have just run the other way right then.
I mean, I know. I think about probably the biggest transfer of money I had like between friends was like maybe like $600, which was like, oh my God, like because we were all putting money together to buy fake IDs on like Silk Road. And and actually I looked in my Coinbase and it still has that transaction. It's like $60,000 fake IDs is how much Bitcoin that was.
Oh my God. Brutal. Hope it was worth it to go drinking once or twice.
I know. I think I still have it somewhere. So, at least I kept it. But yeah, I know it's wild. It's crazy. I do want to talk actually really quickly because you guys are talking about you guys are both like cash backgrounds, right?
I am.
50,
you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I feel like playing cash, like I got really, really into the cash rabbit hole this summer. And I feel like that made me so much better at poker, just like learning theory, because you're just seeing this, like, it's like a static stack that you're working with more or less or deeper, but like, and it's kind of like, I don't know, just that repetition and that pattern recognition, I feel like is like so massive with cash. I think that's like incredible. So big plug for
dude,
cash too.
I agree with you. And I also think for just general like life happiness and stability, I think cash is just a better road to go down, because you're not forced to play 12-hour days.
Well,
you don't have as big a swing either, like emotionally. Yeah, I'm not like, okay, well, if I win this flip, I once lost a flip for like 150K in equity on stars, and I was like, that probably won't be coming back to me anytime soon. I didn't play that big, and it was just a 5K that I happened to play. That is really hard to stomach, and it like is in the back of your head. You feel like you're unlucky, and like that sticks with you for a while. And with cash, it's like, you can get completely ravaged. You can have like a week where you're like, I won 0 flips. But it's like not 6 figures all at once if you're playing like 5 or 5-10. And I feel like I think if I had to do my whole poker life over again, I would have focused way more on cash and less on tournaments. I think I feel like if I were starting, I mean, I'm basically starting still, so I still will like jump back in cash sometimes just to like sharpen up, because like I feel like that is like so key for foundation, like building a foundation. I don't know, at least for me, but I actually switched back to tournaments for mental health reasons, because I'm insane, and I will play for 20 hours. Like okay.
Like
you play longer cash sessions than you would play tournaments too.
Oh my God, I could play a 5x like length cash session.
You just see yourself a baby who still loves poker. Like I was like that too. I was like, there were times I was falling asleep at the table. The game wasn't even like particularly good. Yeah. And I'm like, why don't I just go to sleep and come back the next day?
Playing. I mean, I
love poker.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I had to switch back to tournaments because it's like, okay, I start at this time and I'm like done regging at this time, and that's it. I can't like lose a couple buy-ins and then be like hell bent on like or get the worst is like getting up stuck and then you're like pissed about it. And so it's just like you're always kind of, I'm too like off to really do cash full time.
Yeah, my real problem is I'm just like, I need too much validation, and tournaments doesn't give it to me. There's no justice. And with cash, like if you lose for too long, like if you lose for a couple months, you're probably doing something wrong. Or if you win, you're probably doing something right. Not that long of a sample. So I need to know I'm doing something right. Whereas tournaments, I'm like, I keep losing, and Sprague's like, you're doing everything right, whatever. I'm like, no, I'm not. I need to change something. He's like, no, you don't.
That's me too. Yeah.
I don't know. It's really tough. But anyways, going forward, what are your 2021 poker goals?
Well, I don't know. Like I kind of just have short-ish term goals of like, I mean, I guess I have like milestones, like my next milestone is probably a little bit away. I mean, it's kind of funny because I did have like monetary goals. When I first started, I was like, I want to get a 4-figure cash, and I did. And then this year I wanted a 5-figure one, and I did that. And so that's cool. But I'm kind of done with like making monetary goals and stuff because it's just like, I tend to do a thing where I like to like just set myself up for like situations, like set myself up for failure, and that I can't control if I win, that next benchmark, which is a big one. It's the 6 figures, that's the one after 5. So it's, that's, who knows when that will happen. Maybe, hopefully it happens, like who knows? You just don't know. There's still like that I don't have control over. So my goal is like, I just want to be studying like, and working on my game like consistently. Like I kind of I just want to take a more structured approach to like incremental improvement. I don't want to be doing this thing where I'm like, I need to be the best now. Like it's just like an endless battle that like I will never win. So just incrementally, like I took a couple months off poker, and I think it reconnected me with like, I actually just love poker. So I'm just going to keep playing, and like the more I win, the more fun it is for me. So if I study more, I'll win more, and then I'll have more fun. So like, so I think that's just my goal is to keep evolving, get out of my comfort zone, probably is always like a goal for me. And just experience it really. I'm so like new to the poker world, really. Like I've never even played the WSOP like live. So I have so much, like it's exciting. I have a lot, I have a lot in front of me. So
that's cool. I hope you do awesome. I hope we hang out since you're a mile down the street from me.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and you have like good life advice for someone super young. That's really cool. And I don't know. I think you're gonna do awesome in poker. And
thank you.
I'm glad you realized that streaming's like not the.
That's everything. Not my direction,
Yeah,
so,
and
like
that's you guys hop on for fun if you want. Like if you're just like wanting to see
just chatting, like whatever.
Yeah, because
come creep on me then, not when I'm playing poker.
Yeah, like Marle and I have discussed this a lot. Where like a lot of women kind of like peel off of the studying and trying to be the best because they find other things they want to do, which is totally cool. Like I'm one of them. I'm like, oh, I want a podcast. I want to write for people. I want to do whatever. But it's cool like to see somebody who's like, no, I want to stay the course. Like studying is what I want to do. And it'll all come together. And like, I love playing poker. Like that's really cool. And I wish like more women didn't hop off for other opportunities because I think that.
Well, it's like, kind of, I feel like, well, I don't know that I mean, when you're a woman in poker, like opportunities get thrown at you. I haven't gotten like a ton of like offers and stuff, but I definitely see how like I would have an advantage over like just if I was a guy, basically, like in terms of just things being, you know, thrown at you, and it can be distracting. So yes, it's an advantage, but it's also like, it's also kind of this, you're getting this message of like, you're like, you look good, so like, you know, help us, and like that's what you bring to the table kind of thing, you know. And it's like but I'm more than that, and we all are, like, we're all a lot more than that. So it's kind of like, if you really want to play poker, then play poker, and who cares about like the sponsorship or whatever. I mean,
you might make more just studying and getting really good.
I mean, that's the plan, right? Like, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of good deals and stuff, but like, it's not worth giving up something that like brings a lot of joy to my life. So it's kind of like, I have to pick.
That's not going anywhere either. So if you just want to like study now and then it's always going to be there. So you don't
right. I mean, the thing is, like, I would like to like be in something like that eventually, but I don't want to, because I'm like a young like girl with a face. Like I want, like, I want to have something to back that up if I get in that position. Like I want to be able to actually like represent a company, like, or a brand, like, for poker. So I want them to know that like I'm going there, and like I want to win, and like have their name on me, and they're gonna know that like I'm capable of that. I don't want to be just the girl that they take a picture of and put on their site and like the sparkles around. It's like, okay.
I like your description. I'm not just a girl with a face.
I mean, it's like, we're just all so much more than that. It's so easy to like make yourself look good. Look at like celebrities and stuff. It's just, that stuff is, we're all going to look like shit when we're old anyway. Who cares? Like, work on your actual inside, you know?
I'm already there, and I'm telling you it happens.
No, you're not.
No, but no, I like your approach a lot. I think it's like a really good approach for like actually being happy instead of just making money. And
that's what it's about, really, you know, smart. Like, and my priorities were fucked. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. My priorities were fucked like a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. Like I had to like reshift and realize like the only thing that matters is like, what do I want? I want to have like so much fun in my life every day, and I want to be happy every day. So I need, like, it's not like that's it. It's simple, you know. It's not like I want to be happy every day and I want to have so much fun, therefore I need to make $6 million so that I can do this and this. No, it's just like, what the fuck makes you happy listening to that song? Go do that, and do more things like that throughout the day. Like, it's just like, I had it so backwards where I was just like, I need to grind my face off and be miserable until I get to this point where I make enough money where I don't care about money anymore. But that point will never come. I'm just going to care forever until it's going to be endless.
And if you're enjoying what you're doing, you don't have to have an end point.
It just comes to you anyway.
70, I'm going to want to be doing stuff still. You're not just going to want to sit on a pile of money.
Exactly. Like I'll go crazy if I just stop doing something one day. So like, yeah, I mean, the important thing for me now, like, and I hope I stay like this, because I really like being in this spot where I'm just kind of focusing on like, how can I like have a little more fun today? Or like, how can I just like make this fun? Or how can I just like be happy like today, right now, not like 6 years from now, or like, 10 years ago, like, just now. So
awesome. Well, yeah, this is like chock full of life advice. This is a great pod. And this is also,
I didn't mean to do that.
But no. We're like, this is awesome. And Marle and I always say, no offense to the guys we've had on our pod, we're like 10 for 10 on female guests. Every time I'm like, okay, we'll keep it around 45 minutes. And it's like an hour and change. And we're like, can we just talk for 2 more hours?
Yeah. It's a good vibe. You guys are cool. So,
so are you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Anything, Marle? I won't cut you off this time.
No, it's okay. I don't know why it's being, my settings are messed up. But yeah, you guys can find her at Poo Dawg Melissa, DAWWD, on Twitch.
Well, I don't stream anymore, but maybe I will one day. But I'm on Twitter like every day. So
Twitter, Instagram, all the good things. So follow her and look out for her. She's going to be around for a while. So thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, bye, guys.